Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over the 2025 Z994R zero-turn commercial grade mower. Let's get after it. Let's talk about what makes this Z994 different from the rest of our ZTraks in the commercial lineup. First thing out of the gate, I'll just kind of put it out there. We offer two commercial mowers that have diesel engine options. This is the first one in that series, and so we'll kind of start there. 994, and then you also have the Z997. Z997 is going to have quite a bit bigger engine. You're going to have a bigger platform on it all the way around. But this Z994 is kind of more in line with some of the other Z9s in our lineup as far as size and weight. Yeah, we are a little bit heavier, but as far as all the other accoutrement that you get with the ZTrak mowers, this one is kind of more in line with that. Long and short, we've got a 24.7 horsepower Yanmar engine in this, okay? So that Yanmar diesel is synonymous with John Deere smaller tractors, and it is also synonymous with these commercial Zs. It is a proven engine. It is absolutely bulletproof in this platform as well. It is a liquid-cooled engine. It is producing high amounts of torque, and again, torque is what you're gonna need to run the different decks that you can option this machine with. So let's talk about some of those decks. You can see right now that this one is outfitted with the biggest, kind of most expensive option. This is the FastBack PRO 72-inch deck. I can get this with a 60-inch FastBack PRO deck as well. I can get it with a 72-inch side discharge. I can get it with a 60-inch side discharge. Oh, by the way, I can also get it with the 60-inch mulch on demand, which is that deck that has the control lever on the side, so it opens and closes the baffles underneath. So you've got lots of options for decks on this particular one. Again, high amounts of torque means it's got lots of different options for those decks. This one's the rear discharge deck. This is a newer deck for John Deere. They released it 2023. I have actually yet to take this home on my own property. I do want to test this one out personally, but from all the feedback I'm getting from the customers, they are in love with this deck. So let's talk about some of the things that make this the same as our gas-powered Z9s and some of the things that make it a little bit different. And so first off, overall wise, it looks very similar. You get a little bit more robustness back here in the engine compartment, but actually with the new oil guard system in our gas-powered machines, it actually kind of fills that space up, so it looks very similar to this. Long and short, you're gonna see that green cap. Again, that's gonna denote that this is a diesel unit. And then where I'm gonna really start to notice the big differences is underneath the seat. So underneath the seat, you're gonna see that the frame is built a bit more robustly. Why is that? Well, you're dealing with more weight on the engine, and so my guess is they're putting some more reinforcement underneath here that just is so that they can mate that diesel engine to the bottom of this. So it's pretty unique in that way. The other thing that you're gonna see is something that's missing. So this is an R-spec machine, so the highest caliber that you can get, E's, entry-level, M's, those mid-level machines, and then the R's is kind of just the most premium spec machine. Well, this thing is missing an option that you can get on the Z9R gas versions, but you just can't get on here. And that's because of what you see underneath here under the seat. There is a hydraulic cylinder that generally they use to raise and lower the deck hydraulically. Unfortunately, because of the way that this one's designed and the bigger frame pattern underneath there, I don't have that as an option. So unfortunately, I just don't get a hydraulic lifting deck. Now, as you can see, this has got that foot control that we get on the M machines and the gas versions. It is still super simple. As you can see, you know, I'm old and out of shape and I have no issues lifting up this spring assisted 72-inch deck that is extremely heavy, mind you, but it is not because it's got that spring assist on there. So I have the ability to raise and lower that deck all the way from 1 inch all the way up to 5.5 inches. And again, why is that important? Well, oftentimes you see a customer go home and they're a large property owner and they have some pasture mowing to do. Well, that grass in the pasture can get pretty tall. So it's really nice to be able to go to that higher deck height, you know, 5.5 inches, do that first cut, and then come back and do another cut. This thing will take the bulk of anything you throw at it, So you can probably just put it down to that height, but it's nice to know I can go up and then have the ability to incrementally cut off more if I wanted to. So again, nice high deck size. Now I do get that wonderful foot engaged park brake and release. Makes it very simple to get it on and off on. If you can imagine, I'm running along, mowing, I need to go ahead and stop really quick, throw it in park or throw that park brake on, and I can jump out of the seat. Doesn't kill the machine, go collect some garbage, whatever I need to do. Very, very convenient. I love that feature. It is an R-Spec feature in our gas versions, and it is an R-Spec feature on this one, so you do get that. Let's talk about tires. So nice, big, wide tires. These are the pneumatic tires on the back, so I do have the pneumatics. I can option this with that X-Tweel, Michelin X-Tweel, if I wanted to go with a non-flat version with a little bit more traction. I have the ability to option that with this. And then, of course, you're going to get those non-flat front wheels on that cast iron caster that you see up front. So got cast iron frames. That is kind of that hallmark of what sets these commercial Zs apart, that frame and that rigidity, that strength. Speaking of strength, let's talk about warranty. So we were going to get right out of the gate 3 years, up to 1,500 hours. There is unlimited hours for the first 2 years of use on this machine. So you notice that that's a commercial warranty. That's a commercial setup. So again, this is oriented towards that commercial customer, but that's the same warranty you're going to get if you put this into residential market. You're going to get that same robust warranty. Again, design-wise, you're going to see a big, nice fuel tank on this side. We're going to have 11.5 gallons of diesel capacity in this. Going to give us nice long run times because you can imagine that this diesel engine is very efficient. And so I'm going to have nice long run times. Moving on to the back side of this machine, you've got a nice integrated bumper and steel on the back side. Does look a little different on the back side than some of our other commercial Zs as far as the gas one go, but this one definitely is a nice, robust design. As far as my operator's panel goes over there, very nice layout, a layout that we're very familiar with. You've got your throttle, you've got your PTO engagement, of course, you've got your raise and lower gauge for your deck. And of course, I have my hour meter, and that hour meter is going to have the ability so I can read codes if this was to throw a code or anything like that. So it has that in there. One of my favorite things on this machine is this seat. The commercial Zs just take it to that next level. 24-inch high back, cut and sew seats. This is that marine grade vinyl that's gonna last. It is comfortable, soft to the touch. I do have embroidery on this seat, which is nice. Adjustable armrests. On these ones, you also have a lumbar support, adjustable lumbar support on the side. I have a dial-in suspension on this one, so I've got the nice dial-in suspension, so you set it to your weight, and that will allow it to adjust the spring rate for just you, or you can set it for multiple different users very, very quickly, which is nice. And then, of course, I've got that comfort glide feature, so I've got that forward and aft movement of up to 2 inches that kind of isolates me from the terrain. You're going to see the arm controls here are off of the M machines because they're a little bit thicker. You're not seeing those thumb controls like we talked about. Don't have the ability to raise and lower the deck, or it doesn't have a kill switch in it. But I do like the fattier, meatier version here. I actually first started out on a Z930M, and I miss those controls a lot. I really like how robust these feel. There's not a lot of hand fatigue because of the size of these. Other features that you've seen on these models before, the ability to get into these tops of the spindles so simply and so easily. I don't even have to take that off. I still have access to my greaser right on the top. I have the ability to get underneath my deck super simply, just by raising this panel. I can see all of the upside up the top of the deck. I can maintain it very, very nicely. And then, of course, it's got little rubber snubbers underneath here that is going to isolate you from the vibration. Cup holder. Don't sell a machine without a cup holder. I've got a little storage compartment on this side. We've got some foot platforms on here. Got that rollover protection system. This, in conjunction with my seat belt, is going to keep me safe. I do have the ability to fold this down into multiple different positions. So if I'm going under some low hanging trees or something like that, I have the ability to get underneath them with ease. I do think what kind of sets the John Deere apart here is some of these nicer features. They're very thoughtful. You've got these skid guards on the side of the deck. I've got an X7 right now at my house. No skid guards on the side of the deck. It gets scraped up a little bit when you get close to the fence lines and stuff like that. I love this feature. It's replaceable. It's gonna keep it nice for years to come. Smart design. Love that they're doing that kind of stuff. You've got a compartment behind the seat so I can keep things like my manual and stuff like that. So just nice, thoughtful features that you get with these machines. Man, I hope you really like this brief overview of the Z994R. I like this machine. It is a great piece of a kit in the lineup. Let's pull no punches. This is not an inexpensive machine. They're priced very high, if I'm being honest, in our lineup. Well, that's because you get a lot of features. Again, this is one of those mowers that if you're buying this for the residential property, this is probably the last mower you'll ever purchase. If you're buying it for commercial, this thing is going to be built right, built tough, built to that standard. If you've got really easy access to diesel, this may be the mower for you. If you just like the high efficiency of a diesel engine, that long lasting, lots of hours out of your engine, this may be that machine for you. If you like this content, please like and subscribe to our channel. We love to have you as a part of our team here at Papé Toolkit. We love those comments. Keep them coming. I have made a few mistakes lately. I have pretty thick skin. There's not been a lot of people that have commented on my increased weight since I've actually joined this team, since I retired from the military, so I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, if I make a mistake in one of these videos, which I do, I have, please comment that. Let's build the community. Again, the community is gonna help us strive for excellence, right? We wanna try to get everybody educated on this stuff. And yes, I'm human. I make a few mistakes every once in a while, but there's people out there that know the right answer and they will help us all the time. I'll do my best. But at the end of the day, I know I've got you as my backstop. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us on Papé Toolkit. Hi, my name is Jason Hughes. I'm a territory manager out of Eugene, Oregon. I'm also a large property owner and own a lot of the equipment that you see featured in these videos. I hope you find this content helpful. If you have any questions, please comment below.